What is tokenomics? The Beginner's Guide. Tokenomics is the study of economics that involves understanding the different types of tokens and what they do. It's not just the study of cryptocurrencies, but also the assets that are issued on top of them thanks to platforms like Ethereum. In this post, we are going to explain what tokenomics is and why it's important for a token to have a good tokenomic model for it to perform as expected. Tokenomics is a word that is used to describe the economics of a token. It explains the elements that affect the utilization and value of a token. These elements include but are not limited to the token's generation and distribution, supply and demand, incentive systems, and token burn schedules. Token economics need to be carefully constructed for cryptocurrency initiatives to be successful. Investors and other stakeholders must evaluate the tokenomics of a project before determining whether or not to participate. Below are some of the most important elements of token economics. The token generation process. The first element that must be understood is that tokens have a finite supply. Tokens can be generated by several different methods, including mining and burning, which are also referred to as inflation and deflation. These are mechanisms used to generate new tokens within a cryptocurrency system. If a blockchain project allows the allocation of tokens through mining, then this indicates that those who participate in generating those tokens will receive a monetary reward for their work. In the case of Bitcoin and Ethereum, for example, this is done through mining. In Ethereum, the network's native tokens are generated as a result of miners validating transactions on the network by solving complex puzzles. The puzzles are intended to be difficult to solve, but rewarding if they are solved. These puzzles have to be solved for transactions to be validated and added to the blockchain. The utility of the token. For a token to be successful, it needs to have a solid utility. For this to happen, the token needs to provide value and be useful within the network. It's not enough that it can just exist on its own and establish itself as a valid currency. Instead, it has to be helpful in some way that makes sense within the ecosystem of the network. Most tokens are used as an incentive for those who use and support the distributed networks on which they are created. These tokens can also be used as a reward for providing data that assists in validating transactions or as a reward to miners who validate transactions. Token distribution. The next critical element of token economics is the distribution of the tokens that are generated by the network. Tokens are typically created in one or more batches, with new batches being added regularly. This is to make sure the supply of tokens increases with time and to ensure the value of those tokens remains high and stable over time. A token that is issued in a large batch and has a small number of users is more likely to have the value of each token fall than one that has been issued with great care and on a smaller scale. The token burn rate. In blockchain networks, tokens can either be sold or burned as rewards for work done within the network. If a large number of tokens are being burned, it indicates that the demand for those tokens is low since there is little need for them within the system. Another example of a system that uses token burn is one in which tokens can be burned for mining. In this instance, the value of each token is going down as the number of tokens goes up. When a token is going to be burned, it's important to make sure that it's done at an appropriate rate. For example, if many tokens are being burned to increase the number of tokens in circulation or meet some other goal, then the demand for each token will go down. How does tokenomics work? Tokenomics refers to the economics of different cryptocurrencies and tokens. Tokenomics is the study of trading, investing, and other speculative moves about the token utility. Tokenomics is an expression that was used to describe the emerging digital asset market. It's something that appears to be pretty new, but it's just a new word for something that people have been doing for years. In traditional economic terms, a tokenomics paradigm is essentially the same as primary economics, meaning that it's the science of understanding the different types of tokens and what they do. It's not just the study of cryptocurrencies, but also the assets that are issued on top of them thanks to platforms like Ethereum. In this post, we are going to explain what tokenomics is and why it's important for a token to have a good tokenomic model for it to perform as expected. To provide a better understanding of what tokenomics is in the cryptocurrency space, Let's take the example of the total Bitcoin supply. The total quantity of Bitcoin is fixed at 21 million coins, and it is estimated that all of them will be available to users by the year 2140. Before that number is reached, the number of new coins that are created as a result of the Bitcoin mining process will decrease by around one-half every 4 years. This will occur before the figure is reached. This method, sometimes called halving, was developed to induce scarcity, an economic theory that drives up prices by exerting upward price pressure. Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency ever created, and as such, its issuance procedure and schedule have served as a model for subsequent cryptocurrencies. For example, Bitcoin Cash, BCH, Bitcoin SV, BSV, and Zcash, ZEC, each have a total quantity of coins equal to 21 million. Other cryptocurrencies, like Litecoin, LTC, employ the same foundation as Bitcoin, but they also have a bigger total amount of coins overall. On the other hand, the operation of particular cryptocurrencies follows a varied timetable. Dogecoin and SHIB are two examples of cryptocurrencies that have an endless supply of tokens. Dogecoin, on the other hand, has an inflationary supply, in contrast to Bitcoin's deflationary one. Despite this, proponents of Dogecoin like Elon Musk feel that the tokenomics behind the cryptocurrency are what makes it a useful form of cash. Musk once suggested that despite Doge's appearance of inflation, it is not experiencing real inflation. There are several coins and a large number of tokens that operate on the Ethereum blockchain that fall between these two locations. One example of such a coin is Tron, TRX, which has a supply limit that is greater than 100 billion. Additionally, Ethereum has an annual maximum issuance limit, but there is no upper limit on the total quantity. In addition, several cryptocurrency projects will devise rules that will enable them to burn a predetermined quantity of coins or tokens at predetermined time intervals. This idea implies that the coins are moved to a wallet from which they cannot be retrieved by any other party. By decreasing the amount of an item that is available for purchase, also known as burning, traders hope to drive up both its demand and its price. The benefits of tokenomics. Tokenomics is crucial because it helps stimulate demand by injecting scarcity into the system. This scarcity, in turn, will have several impacts on the price of the coin or token that is being diminished. For example, when a coin's quantity declines throughout time due to its burn rate, then that company's value increases as it becomes harder and harder to locate tokens. Another advantage of the burn rate is that it helps avoid the issue of inflation. This means that the money can be spent at any given time, and in this way, tokenomics allows money to keep its worth. Moreover, it helps avoid hoarding, a concept that results in low liquidity and high volatility. The tokenomic model effectively regulates supply, demand, and liquidity. The price of a currency can be influenced by several factors such as supply and demand, as well as market sentiment or investor psychology. Another advantage of tokenomics is that it helps stabilize the price by increasing demand. This makes sense as the supply goes down, so demand will also go up. For example, if a set quantity of tokens out of a total supply amounting to 1 million is being burned in a particular year, then demand will go up by 5%. That same token will be worth more in the open market because its price can no longer be affected by inflation. The tokenomic model can also be used to establish a price floor by burning tokens that have no further use case. This is important for projects that have a large supply of coins or tokens and when demand does not meet expectations. The result is that the price drops, but there are more coins or tokens on the market for purchase. While this might be an unappealing scenario, it's better than the project being abandoned altogether, which would result in investors losing all their money once the supply hits zero. Which tokenomics factors to consider when investing? Unit of account. The unit of account is the unit by which assets are measured. The unit of account will determine whether tokens, in particular, are considered as a form of a unit that is valid for measuring the value and profits from an asset. For example, if you buy a bag full of apples for $100 and sell the same bag for $106 after increasing its weight by 3 pounds, then you would have made $3 per pound. Total supply and market cap. Total supply is the total quantity of a coin or token that is issued during a certain time range over a specific period. A coin or token's total supply includes the number of coins that are burned before the end of the period. From this, it can be deduced that if an asset has a total supply limit, then its market cap will also be limited by this parameter. Allocation and distribution. As blockchain technology is becoming more and more popular, there are now several people who use it as a means of storing and transferring value. From this, the coins or tokens that are being issued will also grow in popularity. As a result of this, the value of the project might not be worth as much as you think it is, even if its market cap is huge. Vesting and inflation. Usually, when a person is granted new shares of company stock, he or she will be given one share of the company in exchange for the money that he or she has invested. In this way, the new stock or token has an equivalent value to money. In this case, inflation represents how much the coin or token's value increases over some time. Inflationary supply is fitting for what is known as stable coins. It is also fitting for assets that have no hard caps on their issuance amounts. Staking and utility. People who invest in cryptocurrency projects are usually required to either stake or withdraw tokens by performing functions in the project. The utility of a token will be able to answer the question, what can I do with this token? For example, when you're asking yourself, what can I do with my Doge, then there are only a limited number of answers that you can give. Team and the community. It is important to determine how are the team members in charge of managing a certain project and why they should be trusted. On the other hand, community-driven projects are usually better managed by the users who use them and not the developers who created them. Conclusion. The term tokenomics emerged in the cryptocurrency community as the most important topic for investors who have seen projects rise and fall on their ability to keep the economics of a project healthy. Tokenomics makes sure that a project's token has a maximum life expectancy and a maximum value. A project's token is used by its team and users to interact with one another on an open-source platform while retaining a value that is based on the network's value, not primarily based on speculation.